New with London are changes to the planning console. Changes to the planning console include actual start and end task dates will now reference the planned start and end dates. In the past, the actual start date would reflect the system time, whereas most users may update their tasks at the end of the week with the planned dates being accurate but overwritten by the system. Now when the task is in progress or complete, the actual start and end task dates will reflect the planned start and end task dates. However, the user can override the system changes. Date-only planning. Also new with the planning console is date-only planning. The user now has the ability to show only dates in the planning console by removing the time component. The other new feature in the planning console for London is client-side planning. This allows the user to make changes on their end, and when ready, to click on a Save button, versus having the system save to the server with every revision. This has greatly improved the performance and responsiveness of the planning console. Let's take a look at the first change for London, the plan and actual task date changes. Type in Project Workspace in the Filter Navigator. Click on a project tile to open the project, and select the Planning tab to go to the Planning console. Let's add a task. Let's change the percentage. The actual start date reflects the same date and time as the planned start date and time. Let's remove the percent complete value, and the actual start date is removed. Let's change the state to work in progress, and the same logic is applied. The actual start date and time is the same as the planned start date and time. Let's take a look at the project task table. The same changes are reflected in the list view as well. The planned start date and time is the same as the actual start date and time. Let's review the second feature in the planning console, date-only planning. Project managers might want to manage their projects by date and not by time. We have enabled them to select the formatting of their task date values. Go to the Preferences tab in the project form and set the project schedule date format to date and time or date. We'll select date, and an information box is presented to notify the project manager that the planning console will now only display dates, and a checkbox on Derived Time Components from Planned Dates is automatically selected. Click Save. Back on the planning console, we can see the format now only displays the date. However, opening the task still displays the time value, should the user wish to view that information. And the project task table also shows the time. Let's take a look in more detail at the Derived Time Component from Planned Dates feature. If this feature is selected, the time on the task cannot be changed. Back in the planning console, I'll try to change the time for this actual task, and we can see that the time change was not accepted. Let's remove the checkbox on Derived Time Component and go back to the planning console. Let's try to change the time. Now I'm able to change the time. Even though the system auto-populates the actual date with the planned date, the dates can always be changed. Let's review the third feature in the planning console, client-side planning. To set client-side planning, go to the Filter Navigator and type Planning Console. Select Planning Console. Under Default, select the project entity. Select Enable Client-Side Planning. This now enables saving on the client side for better performance. Let's go back to the planning console. There is a save icon on the far right. Let's make changes. The save icon is no longer gray. Let's click Save. The client side user's desktop is now writing to the server. The user will observe that any action they perform executes almost instantaneously without loading the mass data. If we make changes and don't save before leaving the screen, a warning message will appear notifying the user that changes may not be saved. Click Cancel and save the changes. More information can be found in the Learning Portal and on the product documentation site at docs.servicenow.com.